Hey guys, this is Miko from ML Sound Lab, and last year I promised that I'd be shooting these videos for this custom guitar that we're making with my friend Janne. Obviously the process took a lot longer than we expected, but now it's here. You've seen it on the latest Gent Cat Pack video, and now it's the time for me to finally edit these videos and make these awesome do-it-yourself guitar videos. So this will be the first video of the series. We'll be going through how you make a guitar body, and this particular body is our kind of custom design. Well, it's influenced by many of the guitars that we love, me and my friend Janne, who actually made the build. I'm just a cameraman here. But anyways, it's a 27-inch scale 6-string guitar. It's tuned down to G, so it's kind of a gent guitar, but it's a 6-string, so I can finally play gent. And it's a pretty cool looking guitar. Let's see what comes out. And this is where it all begins. This is a piece of wood, not a perfect piece of wood. We have branches, we have all kinds of weird stuff here that we want to get rid of. We don't want that to be under the paint because it's gonna look awful. So we have this template that we're using for this guitar build, and we're gonna be cutting away all those bad parts and only leaving the good stuff in. This is a saw. We're gonna be sawing all of the excess out and then fine-tuning the edge once we get to it. But this is a very interesting process for you to take a look at, so enjoy. And just to be clear, this process takes a long time. This is sped up. You're seeing this in a matter of seconds, but this was one full day just working on this body. So kind of put it to perspective. If you're doing this by hand, a hand-built guitar, and how much time it actually takes to make one of these guitars, it's a lot of work. Okay, and now that we're done with the saw, we're off to the router bench. We are routing our template to get rid of the edges and make them perfectly in line with the template that we're using. After, we need to sand it anyways, and finally by hand to get it perfect and smooth. Before the next phase, it's good to sand the top to be flat, because we're making center lines of the guitar, and we'll be using this for other templates to mark out all that we need to route out for the pickups, the bridge, and stuff like that. Would you look at that? Perfect, smooth as butter. Now we're making holes for the knobs for the guitar, and the three-way switch as well. And this is actually drilling a hole into the plank. Also, if you haven't noticed already, it's just gonna be a pickup switch and a volume knob. I don't really use a tone knob, especially for this kind of guitar that's for low tuning. Then we're using two-sided tape to tape on this top template and doing the route. With this route, you will also get the pocket for the neck, where the neck will be. So that's the bridge pickup, neck pickup, and the neck. And then the same thing for the back side. We're just gonna be doing this electronics cavity. We're not gonna be doing the trem block hole that we have there because we're doing an Evertune bridge for this. So it's gonna be a little bit different. I just wanted to get this shot in here because it was just so cool. Look at that. And this is rounding out the edges with a router once again. And this is just to make that edge perfectly smooth around the guitar. I don't want it to be sharp like this. And as you see, it's a smooth, silky butter edge once again. For the top side, the edge will not be rounded, but it'll be kind of this flat Music Man or Black Machine or Kiesel or whatever you call that kind of a edge. That's what I wanted here, and that's what I'm getting. And Janne is doing it because I'm his boss. That's just how it is. Boom! Looks sick, right? And then a neck just magically appears out of nowhere. That's a separate video, but what we're actually doing here is measuring the actual center line with the neck, so it's gonna be perfectly matched for the exact neck that we'll be using. And we're measuring where the bridge will end up, what is the scale length, and this is necessary to get all the tuning and everything correct. So we're measuring from the nuts all the way to where the bridge needs to be and my camera cannot focus properly. Okay, so that's 27 inches from the nuts. This is where the Evertune will be installed, and we're going to be using these Evertune templates. These are very important for installing the Evertune perfectly. There's a bunch of different templates that you need to use. You need to drill out the holes for where the bridge will be installed from the top. And to save everyone's valuable life seconds, I'm gonna be speeding this up. So we're making the holes for the bridge and then adding the second template for routing out the hole for the actual bridge. Once again, to save everyone's life and seconds, I'm gonna be speeding this up. So you have to do every route layer by layer until we have the correct depth for the bridge. And then using the same holes that we drilled through, we're going to be using this template on the back side. And now we're drilling these smaller holes. These will be the holes for the screws for the back plate of the Evertune. So once the Evertune is installed, you can place this plastic plate and use these small holes to drill it to the body. And now this is what the backside looks like. But wait, there's more. Even more templates. And once again using double-sided tape to tape on this template and doing very specific routes with the instructions from Evertune. They come with the templates, so you know what you have to do. However, if you were to do a sloppy job here and mess up so that the bridge can actually move around and stuff like that, then you know the Evertune never having to tune your guitar thing would not really work. So yes, I cannot emphasize enough how much work it is to actually route holes for an Evertune. But it's crucial and it's worth it. I can tell you that I haven't tuned the guitar once after tuning it and setting it up the first time. So this Evertune really works. If you never want to tune your guitar, this is the way to go. Obviously this takes a long time, and to save everyone's life, once again this is sped up. Once again using double-sided tape to tape on the last template for the Evertune routes. After this route we can start fine-tuning the bridge and seeing how it fits. And after routing for 2 days just for the Evertune, it's pretty satisfying to see that it fits. Oh yeah. This is the electronics cavity, and we're just routing out this edge for the plate. So if we install a plate on top of this, it's not going to stick out of the body, it's just going to be kind of level. And this is us sanding the arm contour, and this is one of those things that when you're making a custom guitar, this is where you can really make the guitar fit your playing. Right here, the angle we're using is based on where my arm would actually go on the plank. What this really ensures is that this guitar will be like it's been made for me, custom measured for me, the way that I play, because every guitar player is kind of a different size person. Everyone holds the guitar in their own unique way. This is kind of one of those cool ways that you can ensure that it fits your body. And speaking of bodies, the belly cut needs to be extra big for me for some very specific reasons, mainly that I have a big tummy. I still feel kind of bad for making Janne do this. He was sweating a lot when he was doing this belly cuts. But yeah, this is kind of a cool process to see sped up. In all seriousness, what I really wanted was to get the most wood out of the guitar to make it super light, and also having a belly cut that's very deep, and the arm contour will make the guitar feel really thin on top when you're playing it. So once again, this just makes it feel much better. Speaking of feel, I really don't like the feel of Fender neck joints, so what we really wanted to do here was have the screws of the neck be deep in the body so you don't feel anything. So when you're playing the higher register on the guitar, it just feels silky smooth once again. And just to be safe, we're drilling out these holes from the other side so they are smooth and we don't mess them up. Then we're drilling the holes for the pickup wiring. These are done by hand, so we're not really caring what they look like on the inside, just so the wire comes through into the cavity. Likewise, the input jack, we just want it to be hidden. This is done pretty much by hand, just measuring that it fits inside the cavity. Really, there's no point in overthinking this too much. We wanted it to be kind of a hidden input jack for the guitar, so drilling a smaller hole and a larger hole where the screw will actually go. And that's all there's to it, really. It looks silky smooth. That's perfect. And yes, now everything's been drilled and routed out, and it's time for sanding. And oh my god, does it take a long time to sand a guitar. I had no idea. I was just looking at Janne doing this, and you know, I also participated. You can actually see me participating in this process in 3, 2, 1. There. Do a better job sanding, Janne. And for the flat surfaces, we actually use this kind of a machine. It's better to do it this way for the flat surfaces. This is crucial for when you're putting on paint that it looks good. It's just a must. You have to do it. There's no way around it. Eventually, Janne got tired of sanding, so we decided to break bad instead. This is us making our own blue. Kind of a grayish tint on the blue, so maybe we'll use this as the base coat of the guitar. Adding some thinner to the base coat and mixing it up perfectly, then putting it into the paint gun. So this is the base coat that goes under the paint that makes the guitar surface much smoother and fills out the grain of the wood. This is actually a pretty cool process. You'll see the guitar kind of transform into this alloy metal type thing. Also, what's cool is seeing the stands that we're using for rotating the guitar. I mean, that's an old monitor right there. Doesn't really matter, you can make your own tools. If they work, they work. This is a cool process though. Check it out. Boom. And to get the surface really smooth, you need to let it dry and do another coat, let it dry, do another coat, duplicate until you have a smooth finish on top. This phase is the most satisfying thing to see. Finally, the body is getting the color we're laying on the paint. The color that I chose for this is obviously the ML color. I call it ML teal, but if you go to the store, you have to ask for Porsche mint green or something like that. That's the color that we're putting on top here. You may also know this color in the guitar world as seafoam green or mint green or aquamarine. It's ML teal. Let's just call it ML teal from now on. Okay. And just like with the base coat, multiple layers, letting it dry, another coat, let it dry, another coat, let it dry, and blah blah blah. And no, we're not done yet. We're adding on lacquer on top of the paint once we feel like the paint is strong enough. So this is putting on lacquer on top of the paint. Lacquer is necessary for the smooth finish that we're expecting from a pro guitar. Just a huge pain in the butt to work on. After you put on the lacquer, you have to sand or buff it down so you get rid of all the excess. And you'll see here that the surface is not even after the lacquering, so you have to hand sand it with water and really fine paper. And that's really the only way for you to get this kind of a finish that looks so smooth and perfect, like a butt of someone with smooth skin. Okay, and that's how you make a guitar body like this. If you made it this far, then I mean, you might as well subscribe to the channel. We'll be posting more videos explaining how we make the neck and everything else regarding this guitar build. Obviously we skip some phases, and obviously the big factories use big machines to make most of this stuff that we do by hand, which takes a lot of time. So this is still interesting, and I hope you have a newfound respect for how much effort it takes to make a guitar like this. Okay, thank you guys, see you later, and bye. Subscribe.